They've done it again. Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell are the APTA national champions for the second year in a row.
There you have it, your women's APTA national champions, Florentina Harnisch and Anna Maria Sabori.
The Boisterous Companies, Gen Oil, Dark House Brewery, and Jack McNaughton, playing paddle since 1970. I'm Mark Fischel, along with Patty Hogan, bringing you this terrific quarterfinal match. And Patty, why don't you introduce the players?
Mark, I would love to. From what I hear, it's a beautiful day for paddle in Detroit. I'm hoping you can hear me.
I can hear you, Patty. It's a perfect day for paddle in Detroit. Not too cold, overcast, no sun.
All right. Well, we are lucking out here because from Ticonderoga, New York, through the magic of John Scott, Enet Productions, on our near side, you see that lefty at the net, Jolene Sutter, her partner, Amy Shea, the taller of the two players, the righty on the left side. This is a great matchup on the far side. Walking in the white shirt is Jacqueline Williamson, and that's her partner, Jessica Guillou, who's dressed in all black, heading toward that ad court on the far side, Mark.
Okay, let's take a look at the draw, Patty, to see how these teams got here, and then we can talk about the matchup. So Shea and Sutter had a default after the first game. Do you think that'll affect them at all, Patty?
Well, I mean, my friend Natalie Lemieux and Betsy Joseph were determined to pull off an upset, Mark. So I
Obviously
don't think
not that determined, Patty.
Well, there was an injury from Betsy, unfortunately. But I don't think that impacts Shea Sutter. I think it just makes their path through into this match, a more possible favorable matchup for them, having not had to grind out some early morning play.
Well, it's going to be interesting because this is a rematch of the, I guess, round of 16 at Nationals last year. Round of 16 quarters at Nationals last year. No, round of 16, I take it back. In which Shea and Sutter were up 5-1 in the third before losing 7-6 in 3.5 hours or 3 hours, 45 minutes. So I'm sure that's on the mind of all four women.
And Mark, this is an intriguing matchup because we have number 6, Guillou and Williamson. And Shea, we know, longtime partner of Cynthia Dardis. They rose to, they were ranked number 1 in the country at times.
Numerous times.
Numerous times. Have won almost every tournament out in existence. And
some
they're up
that aren't
against
in
the 13th.
existence.
Exactly. Good point. But I think, the question mark for me is now Guillou and Williamson, they've played a lot of tournaments together. They're number 6 in the country. And the question mark for me in this match would come down to Sutter again. She proved her worth when they won Western New England's mark.
Well, let's talk about that, because that was a huge win for them and really kind of a breakthrough moment for Jolene Sutter.
Yeah, Mark. Were you there for that one?
I was not there for that one, but I know they beat Macy Elliott and Marcella Redesno.
Yeah, I mean, when you can take out former national champs, that's a great win. And I think that, I'm hoping for Sutter Shea that gives Jolene the confidence that she can play with the big girls out here on a consistent basis, Mark. I think that a lot of players have a lot of abilities, but bringing it every tournament, every opportunity to play in an APTA tour event match, it just gets you closer when you have all those capabilities that Sutter does have as a player. It's going to be exciting if they can start off and keep this thing really close in the beginning.
Yeah, the first year that Sutter and Shea played together, you saw the teams were just pounding the ball into Jolene Sutter's corner endlessly. And Amy Shea's challenge at that point was, how do I get into the play? This year you've seen it a little differently. And at the Witch, where they played, Western New England, obviously, it's been much more of an evenly distributed balls, and you're seeing a lot more balls going to Amy Shea because Jolene has really come a long way. She drives the ball off of both wings. She's very athletic. Got a lot of upside in the game. and has really rejuvenated Amy Shea.
Mark, and I think you've seen it as much as anybody in the sport where really to make that next step as a player, you've got to be in the hunt, in competition. You can practice against the best players in the world, but until you're out there in competition and you prove it, I think that's what lets you take another step in the sport. And then, by doing it, now it puts a little bit more in the heads of Williamson Gio, I would think, that, okay, Jolene, she's here. She's ready to play today.
Well, let me ask you a question, Patty, because God knows you played a lot of long, tough matches in your career, and you've won most of them. But who do you think it benefits coming off of a brutal match like that they played just a couple of tournaments ago? Does it benefit the team that won or the team that lost?
Well, before the age of live streaming, I would have said it benefited the team that wins. But thanks to streaming, all these matches that get to be played, everybody gets to go back and do their homework and study and watch for tendencies that maybe they didn't pick up on during the match. So I think I'm going to go underdog. I'll go the whoever lost the last time.
Well, Amy Shea is one of the smartest players we've ever had in our game. She just always has a plan. She has a plan B, and is very willing to stick to it, even when things aren't going well. On the flip side, Jessica Gio is so athletic and so talented. And one of the things I've been so impressed with Jessica is she changed her forehand in the last couple of years. I mean, I've never seen a woman who had developed as late in her career as Jessica did. I mean, she kind of bounced around, played the tournaments, and then maybe 5 years ago, she just really jumped 3 levels. Had a match point to get to the finals of the Nationals in Chicago.
And Mark, I think that's because she had the opportunity to play so many great players, and then she wanted really to, be considered in the top echelon of the sport. And I think great players in every sport tweak their games and add to their games, where I think more club level players get stuck and they're like, well, this forehand got me to be a 60 PTI. I don't want to risk going back a step. They don't realize you have to go back a step to go forward. And much to Gio's credit, she's done that.
If Jessica really would have impressed if she could have changed Scott Kaler's forehand, then I would be really amazed.
Well, then we would say she was also the most amazing teaching pro.
In addition to being one of the best players, that'd be the best thing to have on your resume as a teacher.
Yep. So, when you look at the results with Gio and Williamson, Mark, I mean, I think the nod has to go to them just because you look at the consistency and, they mostly are getting into semifinals of every tournament they play together. That gives them a ton of confidence over anything, I would guess.
Yep, you'd have to think so. And they're getting a lot of good play on a regular basis. And that's what it's all about. Our chair umpire is Frank Willard. As the players finish their warm-up serves. Frank
Umpires are going to be pretty happy today, Mark?
Yeah, it's a good day to be an umpire. Frank is a former top player. And true or false, as Patty Hogan likes to say, former partner of Scott Manzinger.
Oh, that's true.
Yep, played with Scott before. Scott hooked up with that other guy. What was his name again? Godspeed, maybe?
Something like Philip someone?
Yeah. And formed what at the time was maybe the greatest team of all time. And may still be. But they win 8 national championships, Patty?
Yep, and they played over a couple, they competed at the high level, Mark, for over a 15-year period, which is just incredible with the depth that's in our sport.
Yep. Hard to argue with that. Just a brilliant team. Okay, it looks like the women are getting ready to play. People are shedding some layers.
Mark, tell me about that club a little bit.
Just a gorgeous club, Patty, right on Orchard Lake. And if you hadn't figured it out, that's why it's called the Orchard Lake Country Club.
Excellent. All the dots are connecting for me now.
Yeah, beautiful clubhouse, pool down by the lake. We got an old-fashioned hut. Old paddles hanging around the wall, almost an A-frame, a little bit like the Huntington Country Club. Old hut they had there. Okay, so it looks like Shea and Sutter are going to start us off.
Okay, good.
Two teams are
I'll just do the introduction.
communicating amongst themselves right now.
The 2021 Detroit Grand Prix Tournament. This is a ladies quarterfinal match. On my right side from Wilton, Connecticut is Amy Shays. Her partner Jolene Sutter from Darien, Connecticut. She'll be serving first. On my left side, Jacqueline Williamson from New Jersey and Jessica Guido from Sewickley, Pennsylvania.
Okay, here we go.
Ready,
Jolene
play.
Sutter to serve to Jacqueline Williamson.
And Mark, you take it away because I'm not sure I'm being heard. I just got a text that maybe they only can hear you.
There you see some real aggressive play from
Love, 15.
from Gio. She just loves to blitz. Such a tremendous athlete.
$15 all.
15 all. Who do you think the favorite here is, Patty Hogan?
Mark, if you can, I think you can hear me. I'm going to go with the higher seeds, number 6 in the country. I'm going with Gio Williamson in this match.
I think it's an absolute toss-up.
Well, we do love toss-ups. And rankings at some point don't mean that much in a match like this, Mark. Everybody's here ready to go. 3-setter. Let's call it that, Mark.
The rankings are especially ineffective right now
30,
because they're going on a
15.
2-year rolling cycle. So I don't think you can really count on the rankings, especially for a team that's relatively new like Shea and Sutter.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point about the rolling 2-year rankings, Mark. And you still have some teams who no longer play together who still have
40,
a decent rank.
15.
More than a decent rank,
More
a
than a
very
decent
high
rank.
rank.
And just to remind our viewers, we're playing best of 3 sets today, regular scoring. It'll be in the main draw and the back draws.
Mark, are you surprised Jolene
40,
serving first, or is there
30.
a sun factor?
No sun factor at all. For as long as I've seen
Mhm.
Amy Shea serve, doesn't matter who she's playing with, she serves second.
Okay. And do you think that's because they like to have her up there at the net with that huge wingspan?
I'd get a lot more comfort having Amy Shea at the net when I served.
Yeah.
Amy's got one of the best overheads in the game. She really lets the ball drop. It's that low driving overhead.
Game, Shays, and
Similar to
Sutter,
Scott
they lead the
Estes.
first set, 1 game to love.
Mark, this Detroit event is part of the APTA Tour. Do you want to talk a little bit about the APTA Tour? Or no?
Yeah, it's
Should
16
we say-
tournaments, including 4 Grand Prix and Nationals, live streaming 10 of the events. I think this is the 6th or 7th event on the tour. End of the season, the AP Cup will be awarded. Okay, Jacqueline Williamson to serve.
And that's why, Mark, in December in Detroit, thanks to the Detroit tournament being part of the APTA Tour, prize money raised locally, all those amazing local sponsors. We've got some of the top teams in the country who travel here, who arguably wouldn't be here if there
15.
were not prize money.
Great backhand there from Jolene Sutter. See, they're just kind of feeling their way into the match early. Another good backhand from Sutter.
Love, 30.
Three straight
Love,
drives
40.
from Sutter, 4 errors from Gio Williamson.
Yeah, Williamson's going to have to come in a little bit closer to the net to make those volleys. Looked a little too casual there.
Amy Shea a little
15,
tricky with that
40.
ball.
You know, and that's one of the things when the ball's coming from Shea's corner, a lot of times you'll see a player shift over more, take that as a backhand volley. Williamson kind of held her ground and opens herself up to a forehand. I would look for Shea to capitalize on that.
Which leads me to one of my favorite Patty Hogan adages, which is in women's paddle, the team that makes the most volleys wins.
Comes down to those errors and everything, ultimately.
That's
Spectacular shot making, but
four
the
volley
volley
errors
errors
there.
kill you.
Shays and
Gio
Sutter,
Williamson.
they lead the first set 2-0.
Gio Williamson looked a little shaky to me in those first 2 games, Patty.
Little uncertainty. They don't practice. They live in 2 different cities, as we know. But with the top players, that I think that hardly matters. They should have it down. They've played more than a half a dozen tournaments
15
together.
love.
I would look for a little crisper start from them. I agree.
It's
30
such an odd
love.
dynamic when you've played a team very recently and been way ahead and lost. You kind of feel like you're the favorites to win, and I'm sure that Shea and Sutter feel that way. There's a big forehand from Williamson.
30.
Yeah, a little uncertainty from on Shea. Again, she stopped just about the service line. You're just not going to get away with that against the best. Mark, how's your coffee? Is that good?
My coffee?
Yeah, you're drinking now. I hear they have really good coffee out in Detroit.
15.
Cannot confirm nor deny that, Patty.
Okay. We're in the early go, Mark, but this is an important game, big time for Williamson and Gio here.
Boy, Jolene Sutter is firing, isn't she?
Yeah, and I like that. She just ended up on the ad court side. Who cares? Brings out that nice 2-handed backhand of hers.
She is just ripping the ball.
Game to Shays and Sutter. They lead the first set 3-0.
So that's 3 love, Shea Sutter, first set. And Gio Williamson need to find some footing here, Patty Hogan.
I'll be curious. In that first game I saw it. I'll be looking for it here where Williamson and Gio, when they are the net team, Mark, they'll play it where they seem to switch from side to side. The person on the diagonal will be the deeper player versus the player to the left, taking a lot of overheads. I'll point it out if I see it. And I thought they got caught a little bit with Williamson, on the tee, essentially trying to come up with 2 volleys from Sutter in that first game. So I'll be curious if they can make a little bit of adjustment in their net coverage.
Okay, Jessica Gio to serve to Jolene Sutter. And Jolene is really hurting him with the return of serve.
15.
And that was the volley you'd expect Jess Gio to make. Wow, this set's going to be
Love,
over in about
30.
10 minutes if they're not careful.
I like a little pressure from Shea. She just kind of made her presence known up there and then went back to the baseline.
Again, you see Sutter standing on the baseline, hitting the ball, stealing time from her opponents. Another great point from Sutter. She's really dominating play right now,
40.
Patty Hogan.
Yeah, they may have to adjust their strategy of overplaying her.
Love
Especially
40.
because they look vulnerable in their coverage from Jolene with their positioning at the net right now.
Wow.
Game to Shays. Sutter, they lead the first set 4-0.
Okay, I'd like to change my pick.
Why not wait until later in the match, Patty?
Because I seem to have enough information right now to go away from my original pick of the number 6 seed over the number 13 seed.
And just
But
because they played 4 games and Gio Williamson have won 2 points, you're switching?
2 points. The 2 points in 4 games is a little alarming right now. And that's where Williamson and Gio, they don't need to get it all back at once, Mark. They just have to get into some points here and literally start grabbing some points.
And interestingly, you see Shea Sutter playing I formation, the reverse for the lefty, and there they didn't even try and switch during the course of the play with the forehands on the outside. Now they both have very good backhand overheads. But that's an interesting dynamic.
And that the two backhands up the middle leaves you vulnerable to the overheads. But if the other team's not hitting any lobs and they're not getting you in trouble, maybe there's something to be said for just sitting tight.
Yeah. I mean, for volleying
I've
purposes.
never seen it work at the top level, though.
For volleying purposes, it's much more effective.
15 all.
Jolene is not going to want to see a replay of that point.
No, that was a bit awkward. I think they caught her on the move to her left.
Gia Williamson just need to play a couple of solid points. And that does definitely not qualify.
30-15.
Yeah, they look like the ones who had a walkover in their first match. They look really flat.
Patty, do you think it's more that
all.
Chase Sutter are on fire or that Gia Williamson are really struggling?
I'm going to go really struggling.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, Shea hasn't really made her presence known in this match, but she hasn't had to. Sutter's gotten off to a great start.
But so many of the volleys Gia Williamson have missed are volleys you'd expect them to make, right?
I would. But I still go to Mark because of my emphasis and focus forever on volleying. They are one of the top teams who do hit more forehand volleys than most teams.
40-30.
In terms of them getting themselves set up the way that I loved a team to get set up at the net, they leave themselves a little bit vulnerable, and that's just where the attacking, ground strokes from Sutter out of that deuce court, it's kind of broken them down a little bit.
A great close there from Sutter. She read the drive. See if they look to switch here. There have been several balls they could have switched sides on and haven't.
Well, a team has to lob the ball
Deuce.
beyond the service line to make you do really anything. They've got to make Sutter and Shea work harder.
Yeah,
And that's what I always look for. Do the lobs push a player beyond the service line?
That was a real donation there from Sutter.
They could have switched and didn't.
Jamie Shea trying to will that ball back into court. And it's our first game point for Gio Williamson.
Deuce.
That was a gift, Mark.
Been a lot of gifts this game. It is the season of giving, in fairness, Patty.
It is. Yeah, but Gio just had to put that forehand anywhere in play. The return to serve. It could have been a lob. They're just not getting that many opportunities on these huge points yet. They're not creating their own opportunities, I should say, on the bigger points so far.
And in fairness, there haven't been too many big points.
Advantage receiver.
But to your point, just get the ball over the net one more time.
Yep. Yeah, uncharacteristic miss right there from Amy Shea on that volley. I like the combination of shots right there from Williamson Gio. Take over the net, see what they can do with it.
Lob long from Sutter. And that game was a real blur.
Game, Guido and Williamson. Shays, Sutter lead the first set, 4 games
But
to
sometimes
1.
that's all you need to get back in the match.
Yep.
Do you want to change your pick and who you like, Patty Hogan?
No, I'm going to stick with my second pick.
Stick. Okay.
I'm going to stick. Sticking with my pick.
At
as
least for
Rod
this
Workman would
game or
say.
two.
Yeah, at least for the next 2 games, Mark.
It would be
I don't wanna
premature
known
to
as the
switch
person
again.
who changed- Yeah, exactly. I need a little more data to switch. And Mark, our leaders so far in the APTA Tour event, we have, I believe Juan Araya is leading in the men's, and our women's, led by none other than our country's #1 team right now of Zabori and Hanish. Mark, how can Juan have the lead when he plays with Parsons? How come their points are different?
He's played some tournaments without Parsons.
I knew the answer, Mark. I just wasn't sure everybody at home did.
There are no answers you don't know, Patty Hogan.
What should I get Sandy for his birthday,
15,
Mark?
love.
A gift certificate to Best
struggling.
Buy. See if that game changes things. 3-2, Caravaggio Vetkovic over Morgan Sikora. First set.
Mark, I like what I see right here. A little chat. You know, sometimes Williamson and Keogh as a team play pretty fast. Not interested in much chatter, but it's critical at this point for them to really communicate. Be on the same page strategy-wise.
The forehands that Jolene Sutter was
30,
landing in
love.
the first few games starting to miss.
Yeah, and she
Consecutive ones
took that
there.
off her back foot, it looked like, Mark. A little bit deeper. I mean, when you can lean in, lights out. When you're leaning back or falling back, that's where the driving errors come into it.
There you saw Jess Guillot reaching with the forehand.
30-15.
I like Sutter continuing to fire away. Her shot selection has been great.
And I think that's where, because Guillot and Williamson do not commit to their backhands as much as some teams, that is the vulnerable spot. Those drives coming out of that deuce court should, which should be basic, routine defense of the net. It becomes a little bit more interesting when that forehand flips in front of the backhand, the player to the right frequently.
40,
Shea
15.
misses that backhand. That's her bread and butter right there.
She's been effectively taken out of this match, Mark. Sutter hurt these guys early,
And missed late.
but they,
Game, Williamson, Guido, Shays and Sutter lead the first set 4-2.
Little conversation here from Shea and Sutter.
I like it.
Yeah, those
Just
were
a tiny
two.
tiny bit of momentum going against them right now, so I almost like the stall strategy, Mark.
Two pretty ugly games they lost. Here they are on the mismatched sides of the net. Again, plenty of opportunities to switch sides, and they just don't seem interested in it.
I think they
Love,
think,
15.
that the way they're going to get hurt from Guillot and Williamson is off drives, not maybe, the forehand from Guillot up the middle and the backhand from Williamson up the middle. I don't know, Mark.
Love, 30.
Patty, have you ever seen a
Love,
lefty
40.
play continuously at the net, at the backhand side?
Only beginners in matches where they haven't learned how to switch with their partner or when to switch or have the shots to switch. but I've never seen it in a high-level match.
Me either.
15-40.
And it begs the question, if they want to play that way, then why wouldn't they switch the other way?
Maybe it's a new strategy it's a work under progress maybe for them as well.
Well, they're ahead 4-2, and they do have Patty Hogan's endorsement to win this match. For now.
For now. But again, all it's going to take is some better, deeper lobbing, in the middle of the court from Williamson-Gio, and they would be forced to change, but they're not being forced to do anything.
30-40.
Are you surprised that Gio Williamson don't seem to have picked up on this?
Yeah, I am. Or maybe, I just think neither of them is feeling it yet, so neither can kind of take over yet. You always feel like there's a moment in a match. We felt it with Sutter right out of the box here. She was sort of taking the lead, taking the initiative, and there was the one winning points, dictating the outcome of the points. I don't really see at this point that Gio and Williamson are able to do that, either of them.
There's a good rip from Williamson there.
Deuce.
Misses that one.
The other thing they're missing out is, Williamson got a couple of short balls there on her backhand. She volleyed the ball cross-court to Jolene's backhand, where the middle with the lefty-righty is the spot. That's really your percentage play. Work that ball in between the two players when they have pulled off their switch. Their strength becomes their overhead lob coverage up the middle, but they're vulnerable through the drive in the middle. Here, they're not vulnerable because they've got their two backhands defending the middle on Williamson. But I'm saying in this scenario with Amy Shea in bright pink out there, they've got to pummel the middle of the court on their drive opportunities.
Good blitz there from Sutter.
Deuce.
And I just think that's the type of play, it's a high-risk, high-reward play there, and I just don't think you can afford to do that when you're playing poorly early in a match. You just got to go back to basics.
And see, I think when you go back to basics, Mark, it includes good lobbing in the women's game. You've got to be an effective
That is
lobber
the
to
most
open
basic,
up.
Patty.
Just pointing it out. Nice to see Heather Propp in the draw, Mark. She's teamed up with, a new player for her. I haven't seen this other player play, but they're in the third set with Cran Herschel, evidently, according to Amin Kaduri, who's out there, sending us some scores.
Lob wide from Sutter, and after a 4-game stretch, Gia Williamson responded with a 3-game stretch. Okay, Viking, one ball to rule them all.
4 games.
One ball is consistently chosen for the sport's highest level tournaments, league play, social events, and weekend outings. Viking. For the last 25 years, we've remained the overwhelming choice. Viking, unleash the warrior in you. The official ball of the APTA, the official ball of the National Championships and President's Cup, and of course, the official ball of the APTA Grand Prix Series. Patty, what are you seeing out there?
I'm scratching my head at the start for Gio Williamson. It was a little bit flat. And now I'm scratching my head because, Sutter and Shea just started lights out, particularly Jolene, and they've totally cooled off. And, I thought it was a flat start. So I think credit to Williamson and Gio. They just have been patient here and doing nothing spectacular, but just keeping a few more balls in play. And now the tide is turned. We're at 4-3 first set from Detroit.
And here's where you expect all 4 women to kind of batten down the hatches and start playing some really solid battle. He says as
Love.
Gio misses a relatively easy forehand.
Or excuse me, Love 15, I'm sorry.
And with that new Gio forehand, Mark, you were talking to, she missed long through the middle, and the net team hadn't even shifted.
Love
I think she's just got to
30.
pick a target, go at, try to handcuff one of the players at the net, and it would be Jolene for me. She would be my target practice. I think when you're struggling on your drive, I think you've got to pick targets, someone on the other side of the net, try to break down that player on their volley.
15-30.
There's a great combination for Sutter there. Deep lob, good drive. Oh, misses that one wide.
15-40.
That was good pressure from Shea and Sutter.
Yeah, but you can't miss that overhead. Sutter was not showing any sign of footwork, lining up a drive or anything. She kind of was in a passive baseline position, Mark, where she wasn't really looking for offense.
Game to Shays and Sutter. They lead the first set.
Wow.
5-3.
Mark,
Jessica
and you know what
will not be happy with that game, Patty Hogan.
No, and an overhead error at this level of the game, few and far between. You just can't give any points away on overheads.
Jolene Sutter to serve for the first set, 5-3. That's a good lob volley from Sutter to get out of trouble.
Mark, quick shout out to my friend Mary Chambers, watching from Easton, Maryland.
Love.
5-2, Caravaggio Svetkovic over Morgan Sikora, first set. Oh, that's a dangerous shot there from Gio with her partner exposed.
15-all.
Sutter does a great job of closing the net off when she senses the opposition is going to drive the ball, Patty.
Yeah, she does. She's got that good court awareness.
Boy, Williamson cannot find that forehand. And that was not a committed swing at all. Kind of guiding the ball. You can see her mimicking the motion.
You know, most of the time over the years, I've seen Williamson play out of the ad court more, Mark, and that ball moves into your body when she's returning serve and hitting the shots. Oftentimes the ball's moving away from her
15.
as a player in that deuce court. So sometimes that's a weird adjustment, and she's got to really force herself to keep leaning into the court when she hits her forehand.
Back-to-back missed forehand returns from 15 all. With your opponent serving for the set is not where you want to be.
No. Mark, is your forehand better from one side or the other?
My forehand's worse from the
No.
backhand side.
So it is better from the deuce court.
Yes, I would prefer to say it's
40-30.
worse from the ad side.
Okay.
Better implies a degree of competence. Still set point. Well, that was a tight-looking
Deuce.
serve from Sutter.
Yeah, it looked like that toss got a little bit away from her, and she maybe should have just not hit it.
Good move here from Amy Shea to come back and have a conversation.
That's the maturity of a veteran player, a veteran competitor. See, again, Williamson, took her drive. That's the one I like, in the middle of the court. I think that could get them something.
And off our stronger wing, the backhand side. Oh, great volley from Shea off the let cord.
again, just short lobbing from Williamson and Gio. They just can't get themselves too many offensive looks because of the short lobs right now.
And Amy Shea, it's dangerous to lob the way against her because she's going to find that nick as she did.
Advantage
Guillaume misses
server.
the lob, takes us to set point number 3. She misses that long lob, and it's game in first
Game
set. Shea Sutter 6-3.
Sutter.
Okay, we'll be
They
back
win
in a
the first
moment
set,
after
6
these
game,
messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by eNet Live.
They've done it again. Johanna Runt and Stephen Mitchell are the APTA national champions for the second year in a row.
There you have it, your women's APTA national champions, Florentina Harnisch and Anna Maria Sabori.
Okay, welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We just finished the first set of this quarterfinal match between Gio and Williamson, Shea and Sutter. Shea and Sutter coming out on top 6-3. Patty Hogan, your thoughts?
My thoughts kind of along the lines of what we expressed during that first set. Just a flat start, a slow start for Gio Williamson. And, you know, we talk about fundamentals being key. They've got to lob. They've got to try to get Sutter and Shea a little bit more uncomfortable. In my opinion, they need to do it through some lobs. And then really taking advantage when they do get the short ball to pummel the middle of the court where you have the lefty-righty volley, little bit of awkwardness. And I've got to believe Williamson and Gio are going to feel a lot better. That first set's just been deleted, I hope, mentally for them, and we'll see if they can get off some kind of, you know, energy from their side of the court here, Mark. See, they've sort of made the adjustment, Mark. I was talking really early in the match. Well, see, now they've gone back to it where a little Mark Parsons like where Jacqueline covered the really deep lob, or decently deep lob with a two-handed backhand roller versus Gio taking it with a forehand overhead. And if I'm Williamson, Gio, Mark, I would not involve Amy Shea, even though Sutter had the hot start. I just feel like Shea is capable of incredible play. That the more balls she hits, I think it's going to be dangerous to them. And we can see right there, she went all the way halfway over on the Viking banner to take that middle. Do you agree with that, Mark?
Yeah, she hit so few balls in the first set. I mean, attributable to volleys made from Gio Williamson, but she just never really seemed to get any rhythm.
But she didn't have to.
30, love.
And maybe that's hurting, that she just hasn't had that many looks. Because that was a really flat miss right in the bottom of the net. She does not do that too often.
Yeah. Great volley.
Mark, how do you pronounce Heather Prop's partner for this event?
I don't pronounce it,
What's-
Patty.
Okay, me neither then. Just Heather Prop and her partner advanced, won the third set, and their prize is a quarterfinal matchup against Harnisch and Sabori.
Whoa. A good learning experience.
Winner of this match plays the winner of Morgan Sikora and Caravaggio and Svetkovic.
Svetkovic up 5-4 first set.
30,
Since
15.
you asked.
I was just going to ask you, how's that match going?
I got your
I just figured.
ask.
Well, that match, you know, I think they're 8-10 in the country. I see that as a 3-set match.
Another missed forehand from
40,
Amy Shea.
15.
She really has no rhythm at all, Patty. Usually 3 missed forehands a week's worth.
But, you know, this is what we see from Shea. She can look totally flat and then all of a sudden be lights out. I think she would like the all of a sudden to be soon.
Soon. There's a good rip. And she got that ball on Williamson's
30.
right hip, which is something that her partner, Amy Shea, does better than anybody in the women's game, which is really finding the right hip, the right-handers.
Yep.
Big point right here early in the second set, Patty. Kia Williamson need to find their footing and close this game out. Boy, several short lobs in a row from Shea. Is normally a terrific lobber.
Yeah, and I'm curious if Williamson and Gio have enough variety in their overheads and a variety in the speed of their overheads, Mark, to actually take advantage of it. We haven't seen that yet.
No, we have
I mean,
not.
when you lob short, you've got to make the player pay with some kind of wicked spin. Or a drop shot. Because I just don't think you're going to break down Sutter Shea, you know, with flat type of overheads into double screens.
Do you sense any strategy from Gia Williamson at the net?
Honestly,
No, I want you to lie to me.
it's
Yeah, I don't see any strategy at all. I mean, they had played a couple of points early where they threw a lot of balls at Jolene Sutter, and then they were throwing balls at Amy Shea,
Guido
and
and
they're playing
Williamson.
equally. Gio finds
the
the nick
strategy-
there.
Won the first set 6-3. Guido Williamson lead the second set 1-0.
I think the strategy, the tactic that we did see there were a lot more balls in that game to the ad court corner where Amy Shea, the taller of the two players in bright pink and black pants, she got a lot more looks there, so I think that must be their strategy. But, you know, I do think Gio and Williamson can hit some explosive kind of overheads. I think that would bode well. I mean, they could even just clock a flat ball into the middle screen and get these guys charging out. Just something to kind of change it up a little bit. But they're up in the second set. That's all that matters. 1-0 from Detroit.
5-all, Morgan Sikora, Caravaggio, Svetkovic. Jolene Sutter to serve
In the first set.
in the first set. Both matches have played 10 games.
Right. The first 4 games in this match, I think, lasted about 3 minutes mark total. That match, more typical of a paddle match, much longer points.
15 love.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure that early pressure in that point, in that game from Gio being up, didn't pay off for her. We know she loves to create a little bit of havoc, but I think it's got to be a little bit later in the point when you're going to risk giving up a lot of court behind you.
And here we have Shea and Sutter again, not switching at the net to get their overheads in the middle. Whoop, there they switch. First time we've seen them switch in several games. Oh, that's a great ball from Sutter.
30, love.
Such a huge part of the game, that transition aspect. When you hit a lob and you think you're going to take over the net, and all of a sudden you're hitting a first volley from the service line, it's dipping down at your ankles.
Mark, shout out to a lot of the women's players from the New Jersey League. They're loving the action. Although they say they're hearing a lot more of you than me, Mark.
Well, that's a disaster.
So I'm hoping from my feed is working consistently from Ticonderoga, but they say currently it's not. So maybe you could share that with our buddy John Scott.
They're watching court 2, not court 1.
Are they watching the right court, Patty Hogan?
You know, I only can be in 2 states at once, not 3, Mark.
30, 15.
Good blitz there from Gio. Takes us to 30-15.
Thanks, John Scott.
Another missed forehand
40,
from Gio,
15.
and she looks perplexed. That's good play from Sutter.
Game, Shays, Sutter. Games are 1-all. Second set.
Yeah, I don't sense that Gio Williamson have really kind of steadied the ship yet. It was a bit of a sloppy game.
Love.
Yeah, Mark, it's kind of a weird match. You know, you don't feel like either team is playing up to their highest level at all. Not yet. They're getting there.
30, love.
I guess I'm not sure I sense that they're getting there. I guess play
Well,
has
I am
gotten
the eternal optimist.
Yeah, play has gotten better, but in fairness, it had nowhere to go.
Mark, did
40,
these players
love.
arrive yesterday in time to get on the courts and practice a little bit?
Not sure, Patty.
Okay.
That's a great sequence from Amy Shea there.
40, 15.
Yep, and Williamson and, Gio just kind of stayed back on their heels. You've got to be moving forward. The person who moves forward wins most of those close exchanges. I like the pressure from Shea right there.
Game, Guido, Williamson. They lead the second set 2-1. Shays, Sutter won the first set 6-3.
And I even though Shea missed the shot, Mark, I like the pressure. I like her presence because she's got a huge wingspan. And I just think it makes you watch her and not the ball sometimes. So it does disrupt your tempo as a volleyer.
First set, Caravaggio Svetkovic, 7-5.
Does that surprise you over Morgan Sakura, Mark?
It does. Especially since I heard that Sandy Svetkovic might have pulled something in the first match.
Ooh. Well, the good thing is she's got that young partner in Spencer who can kind of cover a lot of court.
Yes, she can. Long chat here from Shea and Sutter. Amy Shea to serve. Again, Shea and Sutter showing very little interest in switching sides.
I give them a lot of credit for doing this. They're not going with conventional wisdom. They're trying something out, and you know, as we know, this is a long season culminating in Nationals on Long Island in March this year, and these guys, they're going to come up against each other a couple more times during the season. So I love the idea of working out some things.
Oh,
Love 15.
but I imagine you did not love that backhand. Neither did Amy Shea.
You know, what's tough for a player like Amy Shea, I'd say when she dominates play, it's when she gets so many consecutive shots where then she can get a tempo. She's just getting such random looks that maybe just going for a little too much when she does get an offensive opportunity.
Are you implying that that backhand was not the wisest of shots?
I'm just muting myself, Mark.
It's a really good forehand from Gio. A great action.
Yeah, I love it. I want Shea to pounce in, move in a little bit there. So there's Gio staying in the deuce court. They're not really looking to switch, get Williamson back over in ad court, which I think is kind of a curious thing as well because she's played there for years. And
15 all.
I love her play out of that ad court. Mark, have you seen her Williamson play enough matches out of the deuce court to get a feel for her from there?
Yeah, I think she plays a little bit like a lefty. She prefers the backhand. She'll kind of take a step over to her right so she can hit it. Forehand can be a little spotty at times.
15-30.
Oh, Jess Gio will not be happy with that miss.
Hey, that was a great serve. Deep serve to the tee from Shea.
That must have been it.
Yeah, it won't make Gio any happier.
Misses that one wide.
And out.
30-40.
Is this going to be a lob? No.
Oh. Sutter almost missed that ball wide. You see Shea turn around and look at Sutter there in the middle of the point, like, are we going to switch or not? I mean, there've been at least 3 balls on this point they could have switched seamlessly. There's a fourth right there. And then Amy Shea misses the forehand volley. And it's 3-1 Gio Williamson, and they're in the head in the set for the first time in the match.
They lead the second set 3-1.
Yeah, and you know, the problem, Mark, with, you know, you do feel like a little hesitation, and you feel like Shea is wondering if they're going to switch. And so I think she's getting caught sort of in an awkward position over on that right side of the court. She's used to being on the left side of the court, and that's where she rarely misses a volley.
Yeah, it's an odd thing, isn't it?
Mm.
There's a good Amy Shea forehand, perfectly spotted, right in the right hip of Williamson. See if that gets her going.
Shout out from Cincy, from Brian Fegg, who is giving me a lesson on how to say Heather Prop's partner's name. Marie, Mark. That's her first name. Marie Matrika, I believe is the last name. Thanks, Brian Fegg.
I think we need a Jerry V on video. My favorite of
Brian
which
Fay?
was Sally Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
Boy, another
15.
Brian Fay?
surprising miss from Amy Shea.
Yep. Feg is a former junior national champion. And Mark, I just want to give one shout out to Viking Junior Tour culminates nationals. We have a new date. We're not going to make everybody happy with the new date. It's in March 5th now. We were forced to make a change not only once, but twice due to a 2 weekends being impacted by President's Cup. So Greg Morgan, who's the APTA Junior Chair, made the decision we've got to go with March 5th in order to include as many players as possible.
30-15.
I want Sutter to fire something, Mark, from that deuce court here.
This is about the best point they played in the backcourt in a while. Some good deep
There
lobbing.
we go. Sutter's, yep. But Sutter sneaking in there. I think from the reason they got to off to a quick start was I do think Sutter was looking for she was really offensive minded.
Oh,
This
great
is what
dig
got
there.
them.
And a great drop shot from Sutter.
Yep, but that's how they got the early lead, Mark. And
30
I just
off.
think sometimes there's a tendency to be back on your heels, a little bit off that baseline, and then you give up some opportunities to make them, respond quickly to your shots.
Well, Patty, did it change the way you played when your opponents came out and really struggled? I mean, did you find yourself playing a little more conservatively?
If they were struggling,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think a way that I thought about it just a little bit along those lines, Mark, was I just knew if, were they going to make an error within the first 15 shots, then I knew I had to hit 16 back. Whatever number they started showing me, like Williamson, Gio, we didn't have many points that went,
Guido.
a dozen shots here.
I would say the
So-
first set, I would have said 5 shots would have been impressive.
Right. So then I think as opponents, you just don't force anything. You
Dude.
just say, okay, I'm just going to put one more ball back because they haven't shown me
But-
that resilience yet in
But
the
you
match.
get
That's what
you
you
get
need
tentative
to see
at some
from
point. You get tentative at some point when that happens.
Yeah. I mean, well, the momentum can change so much in these matches. So I think to your point where you're going
Manage
with
receiver.
your leading questioning to me, sure, I think you can get tentative that way.
Thank you.
But I just thought about it. The way I always thought about it was, Mark, you had to win 6 games to win a set. Didn't matter when you got them, as long as you got them before the other team. I wasn't so concerned about the early ones.
Another really good point here from Shea and Sutter, pushing them around. Oh, Jolene was letting that ball go, and it tagged her on the way through. I think it was going to be good anyway.
Yeah, because it's interesting when she comes in, it wasn't like a conventional blitz, but when she's moving forward, she's moving close to the middle of the court more because she wants to set up her backhand volley. And that does make for a precarious situation like just happened right there. A lot of players, when they're blitzing, they come in and will show mostly forehand, Mark. I know you do.
Quality of play has really picked up in the last 10 minutes. Oh, you saw Shea lining up that backhand. Perfect angle at it.
Advantage receiver.
A little bit dangerous because Gio Williamson went back and forth there, and Amy Shea made him pay the price for going back and forth. But problem when you go back and forth, is you're going to be a little vulnerable in your volley coverage.
The reason being that you're not shifting appropriately sometimes.
Yep, and the way Gio Williamson play it, they do switch positions. Like a different player is responsible for overheads versus the same player being responsible.
Great lob there from Sutter. Another great lob. Here comes the Shea forehand.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. Really good lobbing.
Misses that forehand. That was a well-played point.
Deuce.
Maybe Shea looking for that nick. Finds it there. Good cover from Williamson as the trailer. Finds it again.
Yeah, real good screenplay from Williamson and Gio here.
It's good cover from Sutter.
Great get from Williamson on that low ball.
Misses the lob long. It'll be another
Receiver.
break opportunity. Yeah, you could just feel Shea and Sutter kind of stabilized a little bit earlier.
Guido and Williamson.
Really lob well that
80
game.
second set,
It's so interesting to
3
me,
games
Patty,
to
that with
2.
the new age
Shea
paddle and
Sutter
all the
won the
different
first set,
shots
6
and
games
different
to
ways to
3.
play the game, it still comes down to, are you lobbing well?
It's those fundamentals that go through time, but that, decades go in the game, you see the evolution of so many incredible shots that so many of the top players are capable of hitting. But it just seems that the key points, it doesn't come down to those moments. But again, if, Gabby Nicolescu's on the court and she rocks an overhead, that's the game changer. We just don't see those explosive shots on display from these players here.
Yeah, but even with Gabby Nicolescu, the ability to lob well is what negates that.
Yep. All right, I'm feeling like Shea is ready now. She's got rid of the long sleeves. I feel like her game goes to a new level when she goes sleeveless.
And do you like the sunglasses on the completely cloudy day? What's your thought on that, Patty?
Well, Mark, she's a pro. She's prepared for anything. The sun could come out. I think it keeps her hair in place, too.
It's a combination sunglass hairband. Gio catches the let cord there.
Love 15.
Again, Mark, as you've pointed out continuously during this match, this is the first time we've ever seen a top lefty-righty team remain with their backhands in the middle of the court, foregoing many opportunities to switch places to get their forehands in the middle.
30.
That actually was one of the, a great lob. And I said, I don't think they're going to change until the lobbing improves from Gio Williamson. And that was a phenomenal lob from that deuce court from Williamson.
Jamie Shea in the I formation, pointing to her left.
(15-30).
Another missed forehand from Williamson.
Yeah, I feel like the return of serves are hurting. Williamson and Gio are missing out on a lot of opportunities to build points and build momentum because they've just dumped too many returns, too many errors there. The other thing, Mark, that we haven't seen yet is, and you only can do it with good lobbing, is, Williamson or Gio blitzing. Now, Gio used to blitz all the time. I would think with the two backhands in the middle on deep lob to either player, Gio could bring that into play here.
15-40. Great point there from Williamson.
See, Gio's kind of sneaking in right now a little bit, just wanting Sutter to kind of keep an eye out on her. Here she is.
That's her
She showed
trademark blitz.
She showed the blitz.
Jane,
Yep.
Guido, and Williamson, they lead the second
Good
set,
solid
4
game there
games to
from
2.
Gio Williamson.
Yep, and I think that's what they need to do from the baseline. And Gio is phenomenal at that play, and I'm so happy for them that she's making her presence, felt here now in the second set with that move. And Mark, sometimes it only takes 1 point till you start feeling it, and you gain a little bit of confidence in some of the tactics that you have relied on in the past.
That was not a particularly good drop shot from Jacqueline Williamson. There were people
With the
coming from
temperatures
two
rising.
counties over to chase that ball down.
Yeah, little predictable. Even we saw it, Mark.
Even we saw it.
Even we.
15 all.
Is that good grammar? I just want to see Williamson or Gio just cracking overhead really hard.
Well, right now, Shea Sutter are lobbing pretty well, pushing them back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Gio and Williamson, Mark, you can just kind of feel like their volleys are becoming more sharp. They're not giving away points with volley errors like they did in that first set early on.
Yeah, both teams have really stabilized. But another great lob from Shea Sutter.
15-30.
Just creating movement at the net. So much of a tougher volley when you've got to take 3 or 4 steps before you hit it.
Yep, and that's what makes Amy Shea the player she is. She spotted that drive. She got a spot and got it to that really awkward spot in between the two players at the net.
Morgan Secor up 2-1, second set.
3 sets right there in that match, Mark. No surprises.
Oh, that's a great step in from Sutter there. Like how she caught that ball early. Another great lob. Oh, Shea misses that one.
Long ball.
Confirmed by chair umpire Willard. 30 all.
30 all.
Good play.
Yeah, really nice point.
Ball's long.
Okay. Boy, Shea Sutter was not sure
30,
about that
40.
call at all. Kind of looked at each
30,
other.
40 it is.
Who called it out?
I know that Frank Willard called it out. I'm not sure anybody else called it out.
He doesn't make the call in theory.
In theory. Oh, big forehand
theory.
there from Shea.
With an umpire, the players make the
Game,
call. The
Shays,
umpire will
Sutter.
immediately overrule. if there's a question
Guido and
about the
Williamson
call.
lead the
Right.
second
What are
set,
the
4
calls
games
that the
to
umpire is
3.
supposed to make, Patty Hogan?
Shays, Sutter won the first
Foot
set,
faults,
6 games
reaching
to 3.
over the net.
That's about it, Mark. But I think they were looking to him for the call, which was interesting.
Yes, they didn't know whether to call it. I guess
Good
at
shot
that
of
point you
our
can just
umpire.
say out, or if you say out, then you can ask the umpire. If you say in, you can't ask the umpire. Okay, Amy Shea to serve 3-4, second set.
You see
Paddle's gotten
Gio up
good the
there
last
doing
3-4
the dance.
games.
Yeah. Like I said, I want to feel that pressure from Gio, and I do feel it. I feel like she's getting a little bit active there, footwork, jumping around. We know she likes to go to the gym at 4 a.m. I think she's channeling, footwork right now, Mark.
Great ball there from Gio.
Love, 15.
Ball was on Sutter too fast for her to do anything.
Yeah, because Gio played that shot from halfway in the court, and that's the pressure. She's got the hands and the anticipation that she can do that and apply tremendous pressure. It's huge for her, the success of their team.
Oh, great lob volley winner.
Love, 30.
While backing up from Jacqueline Williamson. Not sure they drew it up that way.
I don't think so.
How many lob volley winners did you hit in your career, Patty Hogan? Clean winners.
I remember hitting one over Robin Fulton a trillion years ago. That was my favorite shot of my life, Mark.
15.
I had
20.
to do that because otherwise I would have, I think, hit my last shot in the sport. I would have been injured.
Well, it's 2 push lobs in a row. Gio's gotten through them. Interesting with the lefty and the right and the correct side there. You wouldn't think that'd be such an effective shot. Great rip from Shea. You just can't afford to put that
30
overhead there,
all.
though.
Yeah, and
30
that's
all.
where it looked like little uncertainty with Gio Williamson, what their tactic was in that point on that overheads, because Jacqueline swung that ball over to, Sutter, and then all of a sudden, next shot, ball of life for Amy Shea. That was critical in this match if Shea and Sutter can hold on here.
And interesting there, blitzing off the Williamson forehand, which has been a bit of a shaky shot so far today. Point for 4 all.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that would be the best tactic.
Wow, those were
Game,
2
Shays,
very
Sutter
dodgy
games are
points
4 all.
from
Second
Gio Williamson to
set.
take us to 4 all.
And Mark, that's where that uncertainty with their tactics with overhead, then it hurt them. Like they've gotten away with it in some situations, then all of a sudden, it was like they just mentally went out. They just took a break there mentally, and all of a sudden, Shea and confidence, Shea got her confidence back with Sutter, and
15. Love.
4 all, second set.
Boy, Sutter hit 2 or 3 great lobs that pushed Williamson way off the net and then chose to take that backhand down the line. I wonder if she was looking for Gio to cross.
Yep, and I just think that's when she has a little more experience in this situation, a little bit better ability to hold that shot one more second where she can see where the opening is across the net versus just reacting to the shot she's given.
Both Shea and Sutter starting to do a really good job creating movement with their lobs. A little impatient there
30.
from Shea.
Love.
Yeah, that was a gift right back, Williamson, Gio gave them 2 gifts at the end of the last game. They've just regifted them. This is why this game, the physical goes without saying, Mark. It does come down to the mental decision-making, shot selection on those key points.
Misses that one
40,
wide.
love.
Good idea. Fails to execute.
Yeah, second forehand drive error from Shea in this game, Mark.
It'd be hard to have made
Little
this game, this point.
40, 15.
But just in this game, that's what I'm talking about with the regifts. Too many
Yep.
gifts here.
And then you saw Williamson just kind of, it's just too fast with that serve. Swing and a miss there from Sutter, and that takes us to 5-4.
Team Williamson, they lead the second set 5-4. Shays and Sutter won the first set 6-3.
Yes, very little difference between these two teams clearly here in the second set. I think the only difference is, from what I can see, Williamson and Guillot are just volleying a little bit better, Mark, in this second set. And just, a little bit of some weird errors on ground strokes. They're a little uncharacteristic, maybe forcing it slightly from Shea Sutter here in the second set.
Yeah, they'd broken the last couple of times Guillot Williamson served. Playing much better from the backcourt. That game was not such a good well-played one from Shea Sutter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be curious as this match goes deeper and deeper. Which team just puts together a string of 3 games in a row that are fairly consistent? Because we've just not seen that yet.
Great action there. A lot of good questions asked by Jacqueline Williamson. Sutter had all the answers.
But I like that Williamson is hitting lots of those probing types of shots and trying to find something that they can just, draw some consistency from.
It was really well played point on both teams' sides. Williamson misses that one.
15, love.
Misses
I like the
it.
idea. It just got a little bit out of her reach there on that shot, and I don't know if she should have just let it go to Guillot.
You don't know if she should have let it go to Guillot? Wouldn't that have been?
I'm just...
Was that a rhetorical question?
Just giving her the benefit of the doubt. I think she had a great idea. I think she actually overran the ball. The ball was still rising. She just misjudged it slightly. Truth be told. That's Jacqueline Williamson in the far side deuce court with the maroon top. Hitting the ball right now, the righty, Jessica Guillot. Pittsburgh, representing Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Jolene Shutter is our lefty on the left side of the
30,
screen.
love.
And Amy Shea is now in the ad court side. I feel like we should get to a tiebreaker, Mark, the way this set has gone back and forth.
40, love.
It's fascinating. I've not seen a match, Mark, quite like this where no team really has rolled for more than like 2 games. Just inconsistent.
4-2 Morgan Sikora, second set.
Game, Shays and Sutter. Games are 5-all.
5-all.
Set.
So, Mark, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier about Gio's forehand. I think she's got to go out of body and go, to the awkward side, awkward side of someone committed to a backhand volley, the right side if it's a righty player. I just think she's missing a couple of big forehand opportunities to empty spaces. She's not getting a space can't play an out ball, Mark. I always say that when I teach, but that's she's proving it right there. I think you've got to go at people and see if they can come up with your great forehand. See if they can come up with the volley. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I like it. There you saw Amy Shea setting up at the service line when Sutter was returning serve. Never backed up until after the ball was in play.
Big fan of that play occasionally. I like that pressure to be shown to the server. I just felt like when you started that player up there, when I was serving, it would be a tad distracting for me. Instead of being able to zero in on the return of serve, oftentimes you had to peek up at that player.
15.
Great job there from Sutter finding the Williamson forehand volley. This is a dangerous time here for Gio Williamson.
Yeah, the momentum has swung again, Mark. Good hands from Sutter early in that point, showing a little bit of pressure, playing short, coming up with that little short hop shot.
Oh, played a good
15-all.
point there and then got a bad break.
Well, again, Sutter, when she applies that pressure and she moves in, you see how close she goes to the middle, and she's giving up a lot of room on her side of the court instead of looking for a forehand volley.
Great lob from Shea. That was the forehand Sutter wanted.
30.
Didn't really
15.
go after it.
But I still think if you call it a great lob because it backed the net player way out of the service box, I think that's where you got to look to take away time by sneaking in a step or two and hitting a shot with a little bit of a shorter backswing, shorter follow through. Some would call it a chip.
40.
Boy, Amy
15.
Shea's not going to be happy with that forehand miss off a relatively weak serve.
Yeah, and Williamson is thrilled that she missed because she kind of was, I don't think she had her paddle in a position to defend it. Great lob.
They are really moving Gio Williamson all over the court with their lobs. Okay, that's
Keto
long.
and Williamson.
Game view
They lead
Williamson's.
the
They lead
second set,
6-5,
games to
second set.
5. Shea Sutter won the first set, 6 games to 3.
That was a real missed opportunity for Shea Sutter, Patty Hogan.
They know it. I see, they're over there drinking water, taking. Their veteran, Amy, is such a veteran player that they'll use that information. Take a negative, make it a positive.
Okay, Amy Shea will serve. Stay in the second set.
Like I said, Mark, tiebreaker.
You did say that. Boy, Williamson has missed a lot of forehand returns.
Yeah, they've done a lot of gifting, as we've said throughout this match, and that might have been the biggest gift. Takes a lot of pressure off you as a volleyer when that first return doesn't find.
Third love.
And then when the second return misses also on a lob.
A lot more confidence serving at 30 love. But this is what I'm saying. It's just inconsistency from Williamson and Theo here in this match.
There's that good forehand from Guillaume. The 30 all, 2 points from the set.
Pressure, way to follow in her return. Put a lot of pressure on Shea and Sutter. I think that's their ticket.
Good forehand return from Williamson there, and they net. So are Shea and Sutter going to look to switch back in this point, Patty?
You don't feel it.
No, I haven't seen it at all. Which is interesting. This is obviously the biggest point of the set to date. They clearly prefer on the forehand, so why wouldn't you switch back?
Yeah,
And
it seems
Shea
like a
gets beaten in her
tactical.
corner.
40.
Yeah, it doesn't seem it was a smart tactical play.
Set
I know
point.
you would have said it.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what the motivation is.
All right. Good job from Guillaume, making Shea come up with the first volley.
Great dig there from Williamson.
Yeah, she read the nick beautifully.
Guillaume just kind of
Deuce.
served herself up there with that high forehand to the Shea backhand volley.
She did, but that's her bread and butter. I don't mind a miss.
Yeah, she just didn't play it very well. Big moment in the match, too.
Advantage, Shea's.
Wow.
You think Williamson should continue to swing at that ball, Patty? I think she should be lobbing it.
I think she should lob it and get the ball in play on the return of serve and key points.
Yeah, I agree. She just missed too many.
She's lost. Yes, she's just lost the confidence in her forehand drive. So then don't lose points on it. Find another way.
Great cover there from Williamson. Shea looking for the nick, and she finds it. She finds it better than anybody in the women's game.
Game to Shea
Yep,
and
and
Sutter.
first time
Games are
Williamson
6-all, second set.
failed to come up for it. key point.
Tiebreaker.
Now we get our tiebreaker, Mark. Jacqueline Williamson to start us off. Really good movement from Williamson in this point. Really good volleys.
Missed lob
Goes out.
long.
One love. Guido Williamson.
Mark, we'll have the semifinals of the women's. We'll start around 2:30 today.
That is the schedule. Finals
Excellent.
at 4:30. Scheduled.
And when you use the word scheduled, that's the wish of when we hope these live streams will go on the air. We know it's a paddle tournament. Anything can happen. One match goes 3 sets. Throws a little bit of chink in the armor all the time on the timing.
Another missed forehand return
1-all.
from Williamson.
I like a little different look from Shea Sutter there, and really surprised Williamson missed trying to go cross court there. I would have taken the wide open shot up the line.
Great soft overhead down the middle there from Sutter. Wins the point.
2-1. Shea Sutter.
Little low cutter just died on that back screen. Mark, how great is it that Detroit now has Mirta? Your buddy Mirta's in the Detroit area. Do you wanna
Second
talk-
set to Morgan Sikora, 6-2.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what club did Mirta go to? Just
The
for everybody
Birmingham
watching.
Athletic Club.
What a great opportunity. I love that Detroit has a top women's player out there.
Possible we're seeing Molenveld later this afternoon.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Love that shot from Amy Shea. Hitting that ball from high to low. Dipping, hard ball to volley. Another really well played point here from Shea and Sutter. I love how Sutter's always looking to get up on that baseline. Perfect example there, the way she steals time from her
1-3.
opponents, getting the ball early, finds the forehand of Williamson. She misses the volley.
And that's just, it just helps her so much. And so many club level players, I think, would benefit when they see a good lob hit by their partner, that you're really looking to just take the time away by just being able to hit a drive, get a drive off, a little bit sooner against your opponent. You can't underestimate how much impact that has for your team.
Stealing that time from them.
Yep. And if you didn't catch the beginning of the match, that's what Sutter did, and that's what led them to that great start.
Oh, she played
winning the
such
first
a
4
good
games.
point there, Patty, and then she kind of laid off that forehand, just wasn't committed to it. It created all sorts of movement there, kind of opened the court up.
Yeah, she did a great job to get that opportunity. You know, but it takes opportunity plus execution, Mark, in this big game to win big points against
Imagine that.
big-time players.
See if they pay for that miss. Here they are again. Not switching.
Yep. It hasn't hurt them one bit.
What do you think that Gia Williamson should have done more? Just lobbing deep down the middle?
I think so. And throwing in an occasional blitz, just going with that as a play.
Shea finds the nick again. Boy, she's good at that. Great deep overhead there.
Great, yeah.
3
And that was
has the
it.
answer.
I mean, yep. And I'm saying that's the strength of Gio as a player, Mark. I just love when she gets consecutive shots and she creates those little opportunities for herself. And she does that as well as any woman in the game.
Shea is dialed in looking for that nick. When she doesn't hit it, it's a surprise.
Hey, she takes advantage of that nice height that she has.
You sound jealous.
And I am jealous. I've looked up to Amy for years.
Well, I look up to you, Patty, so that makes us even.
Thanks, Mark. Especially when you're in a chair and I'm standing next to you. Standing.
Boy, all 4 women know the importance of this point, and they're playing it accordingly.
Yep, and Shane Sutter do have their forehands up the middle. They can defend that middle ball way better now. The middle lob.
Oh, that's a ball that you just have to lob. Just too low on the court. And when she swung at it, she didn't swing at it with any commitment.
Well, the ball is below the level in that net, Mark. I think she could shorten up her swing and put a ball in an awkward spot for a volleyer, and she could capitalize.
Missed
I
volley.
just think
2 points for the
I mean,
match.
Yep, big opportunity miss there.
Oh, it's great backhand from Sutter. Finds the forehand volley of Williamson, and quickly we're at triple match point.
Yeah, and that's, when your drives can feed off each other, Mark. When one of your partners makes a drive, and I just think that's, then you're going to get easier looks, and Sutter just had Williamson and Gio really backing off, leaving a ton of room for her to find that winning shot through the middle there.
Okay, match point number 1 is at 6-3 in the breaker. Williamson smartly lobbed that return.
Yes.
She
6,
misses that
4.
volley. It's really interesting, Patty, because I think the game has evolved to the point where clearly one person on your team is better at hitting overheads, so why shouldn't they hit all the overheads? I mean, unless you're concerned with fitness and a long day. So here you have Shea and
Yep.
Sutter just kind of doing it haphazardly, not switching at all.
You know, I do agree with that. And you know, when we saw over the years, of course, Amy Shea hitting a disproportionate number of overheads with Cynthia Dartis because she had an amazing overhead and could cover a ton of court with her height.
It'd be interesting to find out why she's not doing that now, whether she's trying to get Sutter the experience, or they like the Sutter overhead, or there's something particular about the matchup that makes sense. I mean, they switched a couple of times early in the match, but not at all of late. And I would say this is a relatively important point.
Yeah, and here comes Gio.
Two
See,
match
that's
points
what's the
saved.
pressure I love
5,
from
6.
Gio out of that ad court.
2 match points saved. One more to go. See if
Yeah,
Sutter
well played point from the baseline from Williamson right there.
tees off on this return. You see Shea taking a very aggressive return position, standing on the service line. Good return by Sutter. Williamson has the answer. Lob missed
6
wide,
all.
and quickly we're at 6 all.
Oh my God, the momentum swinging even within the tiebreaker, Mark. It's incredible.
And don't think Shea and Sutter aren't thinking about losing that 5-1 lead at Nationals last April.
Holy cow. Yeah, I think you're exactly right about that, Mark. Well, I fully expect another momentum swing right here. Sutter and Shea to have a little bit of a correction now.
Good
There we
trail.
go. A little bit of different overhead from Williamson. I like it.
That was the one you've been looking for the whole match.
I've been praying for one.
Great play there from Sutter. And interesting, she ran right to the other side. Normally as a lefty, you would expect her to kind of retreat to her favored side.
Mm.
And there they
I
switch.
think about it cracking. This is it. A ball into Gio's corner because Gio was showing a lot of movement toward the middle of the court. And I think when you see that, it's important to just give her one shot to get her back over on that side. She's taking away the middle of the court here now on Sutter, and a way you can keep her honest is Amy right there blasting one into her corner.
They're playing a lot of balls at Jacqueline Williamson right now.
Little cat and mouse game going on.
The question is, who's the cat and who's the mouse?
Oof.
Oh, misses the volley wide.
Great pressure from Gio right there, Mark.
So, Patty, they switch sides at 6-3 with the match seemingly in the hands of Shea and Sutter. And Gio and Williamson won all 4 points on that changeover to take themselves to set point.
Hey, how many momentum swings are there in a tiebreaker? I mean, it's not surprising, Mark, because this is how the entire the match has played out.
So Amy Shea serving 6-7 in the tiebreak. A little indecision there.
That was a good lob from Williamson. Two good shots right there to put some early pressure on here.
A little more
Shea handled it.
indecision between Shea and Sutter on that lob up the middle. Good idea, but no
7-all.
commitment to it.
Yeah, she didn't have her legs under her. That was kind of like a reaching shot, so she just couldn't get solid contact on that ball.
That was an I think I
Unfortunate
should hit
miss.
the shot, but I'm really not ready to do so.
Yep, her timing was a little off on her execution there.
Oh, they
Good
got to
work from
hit an
Gio up the
overhead
middle.
on that lob. Just no belief in that forehand, Patty.
7-8.
Wow. She just got baited there, Mark.
Yep.
And that's where I think she should have crushed the ball at Shea. It was right at the net. She would have had very little time to react.
Match point number 4. Yeah, it was clearly the right ball to hit. She just didn't really commit to hitting it. And credit to Shea and Sutter for forcing her into it. Great blitz from Sutter. Hits the lead cord. Oh! Oh! She was dead to rights. That was game, set, match.
I'm shocked Shea didn't clock that ball straight ahead of Gio. I think she could have ended it right there.
Wow.
Of course, we're at 8-all, Mark.
Well, now we're at
Oh, no.
9-8.
8-9.
Oh, no. Early surprising miss from Shea right there on the forehand.
Shea Sutter's inability to put this away.
Mm.
That was their point. It was brilliant blitz from Sutter, too. Getting a little
I'm just
brighter
saying she
here,
just
Patty
forced
Hogan.
the drive just too early in the point, even though we're late in a tiebreaker.
Good forehand return there from Williamson. Kudos to her for believing in the shot. I think kudos to her.
Yep. Williamson's got to come back up, get a little closer to the baseline. She's playing closer to the back screen.
And they're playing
beautiful
90% of the
Vikings
balls at her right now.
Yeah, but I think she can take some time away. Just take one more step in, and it would force them to have to do something different with their shots.
But she's in survival mode right now.
Yep.
She hasn't really swung at a ball half an hour.
She swung on the one, she missed wide.
Yeah, not really sure she was committed to that swing. You see Gio coming to the center of the court trying to help her. A couple of great lobs from Gio.
Yeah, you just get the feeling Williamson is trying to wait for Shea and Sutter to screw up versus trying to take the initiative and be a little bit more aggressive. But to your point, she doesn't have a lot of confidence to do that.
Yeah, I'm surprised Shea and Sutter haven't really baited her again on that forehand.
pickup from Shea.
Oh, great blitz from Jessica Guillot, and we're going 3, Patty Hogan.
Even second set.
We are, Mark.
Tiebreaker 10-8.
So
Shea
what
and
changed
Sutter
the
won
match,
first
Patty?
Set, 6-3. Second set.
I just think
Taquito
Guillot's
and
play out of that
Williamson.
ad court. She did take advantage a couple times and looked to be aggressive, and I just think those quick little exchanges advantage Guillot Williamson big time. I also think, Mark, I'm not convinced on Shea and Sutter's strategy with not switching to get and not taking advantage of Amy Shea's overheads more.
Thank you.
It's interesting. They had 4 match points there, the last of which was clearly their point to win or lose. Sutter had a brilliant blitz, caught the lead cord on a relatively easy volley. And then Shea had another opportunity and failed.
Just on this side over here.
Yeah, you know, you got to be able to close these things out. They've missed a lot of opportunity there in that second set to end this match. So we go to 3.
And it looks like our umpire needs a break.
You got to be careful because
And here's the other court. It's Charlotte Sikora in the black vest, her partner Allison Morgan in the gray. Waiting for Charlotte to make that next step. She's long been one of the top 4 or 5 women in the game from a talent perspective, but has not gotten there with the quality of her play yet.
I think she's, you know, her star continues to rise. She's had some injuries, Mark, along the way, which happens to top players all the time. It's grueling to keep yourself fit for this, and playing these tournaments just is a ton of wear and tear on your body when you're also a teaching professional and you're on the court 40 hours a week. So I think she's taken some hits there and a little derailment, but, you know, she's teamed up beautifully in the last 2 years. She started out playing a lot with Kui Lyon out of the Philly area, and they had some, you know, pretty good success, but teaming up with Morgan put her in the next tier of play, and we both are looking for them as a team to see if they can elevate themselves, you know, the remainder of the season going into nationals.
Yeah, Sikora is such a dynamic talent. She's somebody you could see winning a nationals one day. But the level of women's paddle over the last 4 or 5 years has just skyrocketed. You know, they asked the chair umpire for an opinion as well.
But Mark, you know, in the match that we're viewing and that we're going in the third set with, the play has been inconsistent. And I think that's, you know, I always think that when you get teams who are top 4 in the country, you know, you take Hanish and Zabori, I mean, their play is consistent throughout a match. It's rare that you don't, and they can be front runners where when they get a lead, they close out. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what separates those top teams in the game, or the top players.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, Patty. The women's semis last year at nationals were just spectacular, and we only have 3 of those 8 women here today. So 5-love second set. Morgan Sikora, they seem to have stabilized the ship. Yeah, we're missing Annika Cooper, who's had some wrist issues, and I know is planning on coming back in Cincinnati. Gabby Nicolescu is staying home, close to home, not playing. And then Liz Cruz is due to have a baby, I think, next month.
Yeah. Well, and with those players out, you know, it does open up the floor for, you know, some other teams to emerge and have the opportunity to get later in the draw that maybe if all those, you know, those other players were here, they wouldn't otherwise get that opportunity. And as you know, in this game, you know, the more visits you have to a quarter, a semi, a final in NRT events, APTA tour events, you know, that experience just gives you confidence and lets you perform at a higher level more consistently.
Yep, just seeing the level of play. That's how you learn to deal with it. You got to see it. You got to play against it. And you got to do it in a match.
You know, you got to put your work in on the court in your practice situation, but there's no substitute for actual live match play against the top players in order to improve your own level of play.
So, not to suggest you would ever do this, but do you want to switch your pick again?
Give me 1 minute for my answer.
You can take 5 if you'd like, Patty Hogan.
Have one.
Okay. I just need to see all 4 players back on the court, and then I'll make my pick for the third set.
Okay.
Jacqueline?
Do you have a pick, Mark?
Well, you got to
Now
start
that you
wondering about Shea and Sutter's inability to close out the match. I mean, they've clearly been the better team. They took it right to
Yours-
the
your
brink
team did,
and then
yes.
just failed to
Yep.
close.
Here's why. Here's what. The only thing that's causing me a little conflict here with making my pick is simply how many times over the years have you seen Amy Shea be involved in a match where they won the first set, lost the second set, and won the third set? More so than any other top
Yep.
player. So that's the only reason why I'm in conflict making my pick. So I think it's all going to come down to which Williamson, you know, does Jacqueline keep her forehand errors at a minimum? Does she catch fire on her forehand a little bit? I'm not sure that's going to happen with the shot she's getting from Shea and Sutter as the ball's moving away from her when she plays that deuce court on her forehand. So I'm not sure she's got that timing down on her shot to feel the confidence. And, you know, Gio dictating play, making some appearances up there in the court, taking away time. That's going to be key.
Yeah, I think it's Shea
So
and
my
Sutter's
pick-
match to win. But
Me too, Mark. I'm
They-
with you on that.
they didn't close it in the second set, so it makes you wonder if they'll be able to close it here.
Yeah, and I'm going to be really curious if they go back to a little bit more traditional setup with Amy Shea to the left, handling more of the overheads. But the disadvantage that does, you know, that play does create, Mark, is that then they have that middle vulnerable spot between a lefty and a righty. By doing it this way, they've really taken away most offensive opportunities, I think, from Gio, who's the ad court player here. So maybe for that reason, they'll just stick with it.
And in fairness, it has not had a major impact on the match. As odd as it is to see, I don't think it's had a major impact.
Mark, so just like these women are all playing, shooting to hopefully play their best paddle of the year in March. APTA is also offering up something for everyone, and we have a potential so exciting. Our team nationals and our PTI nationals, just an opportunity for basically half the players in our game now have an opportunity to go compete and to play for a national title with a partner or within the context of a team. And you know, that's thanks to the PTI. Whether people love it, hate it, it doesn't matter. It was created in a way to have these formats where any players can team up and shoot for a national title. I know lots of players in New Jersey are excited about it. And I just love tournaments where there's a PTI rating which eliminates players, you know, from a better level playing, because I love that there's fewer lopsided matches being played in our sport. And I love the opportunity for players who would never have a chance in open play to win a gold medal, where now everybody in our sport, the supportive membership of the PTA, has a legitimate shot to win a national title.
And team nationals will be held in Chicago, the first weekend in April for the women and New Jersey for the men.
Any team of like
Thanks, Dave.
abilitied players, Mark, could play. It's just that I can't play with you on my team, Mark,
Oh,
even
that's,
if we were
I'm
like
really
ability.
disappointed. I'm out. If I can't play with you, I'm out.
No mixed play yet, but I would love to see that in the future.
I'm sure there's somebody out there who'd love to see it. I'm not sure who it is, but possible. Okay, so
well,
here we
know
go.
I'm a big fan of mixed.
Third
Okay.
set. Jolene Sutter to serve to start us off. Players are warming up
So
the
we're both-
ball, which
Yep.
won't need too much warming here. It's got to be close to
So-
50 degrees here in Detroit. Morgan Sikora win the second set, 6-love. Third set,
Amy Shea's
6-love.
got
So
her
they won the last two
sunglasses.
sets, love and love.
Right. Shay's got her sunglasses ready, Mark, because it looks like the sun's out there.
Okay, so Morgan Sikora through to the semifinals. First semifinalist that we know of. And they will face the winner of this match.
Not a surprise. I thought they'd go 3 sets. That's due to this. You know, we do have great strength in the women's game, far more depth than we used to, but the cream does seem to rise from the crop, and the highest, Morgan and Sikora greatly favored in that match to get through the semis, and they did. And kudos for them to get off the court, Mark. That's the problem. Sometimes these 3-setters, when you stay out here and you don't close out things, it comes back to bite you later in the day.
Well, it just puts more pressure than ever in this third set because the winner of this match is going to be favored in that matchup, I believe.
But maybe not if this goes another hour and a half. Mark, how long did that second set take? I didn't notice the clock. Do you have any idea?
I had it at 1 hour, 6 minutes, 39 seconds. John Scott confirms that for me.
You would have that exact information for me. Thank you. Oof.
Whole match has been 2 hours, 5 minutes, and that includes the break between the second and third sets, which might have been longer than the first set.
Hope these women have a lot of snacks on the court, Mark.
Well,
they might be going right through lunch.
Jessica Guillot probably went for an 8-mile run this morning before to get warmed up.
She just did a sprint around the parking lot in between the 2 sets, I bet.
There's her hard overhead, followed by a good soft volley.
Yeah, I love that she closed in. She knew what she set up for Sutter, and she closed in.
This is the volley there, and it's 40-love. First few games of the third and decisive set are so important.
Yep, and Williamson, and Guillot somehow have really taken a lot of the mojo out of Amy Shea's sails here, Mark. I mean, she's usually such a difference breaker in the match, but she just hasn't had that many opportunities to take charge.
40-15.
And do you think it's been Guillot Williamson or has it been Shea Sutter?
Yeah, I think it's Shea Sutter, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm glad you're telling me the truth. I'm not a fan of when you lie to me.
Good pressure. Good start to this third set here from Williamson and Guillot.
Good forehand there from Williamson.
Yeah, I would just love a great set of paddle by all 4 players, Mark. It's just the match has been marked by inconsistent play from both teams. I just want both teams to play really well at the same time. That would be really fun.
That's just great drive there from Sutter. Pinpoint on that right hip of Williamson. Forces the volley error.
Shea Sutter. They lead the third set 1 game to love.
Okay, so you picked Shea Sutter. That's your pick for the moment.
I'll stay with it because, like I said, I was kind of hedging my bet on it, but I was just thinking about the number of times that Amy Shea has played a 3-set match and won.
Kind of hedging your bet?
No, I mean I'm sticking with them, Mark.
For now.
I'm sticking. No, I'm not changing my mind no matter what happens.
Wow.
Shea Sutter.
Strong words.
Only because I just don't see enough from Jacqueline out of that deuce court yet.
Yeah.
And, I'd love to see even an occasional switch from Guillot Williamson and just get Jacqueline an easy forehand look from that ad court. Even though she plays, a disproportionate amount of drives off her 2-handed backhand, I don't know. She's got to get that forehand going.
Okay, Jacqueline Williamson to serve. 1-love,
15
third
love.
and final set. Miss lob there from Amy Shea.
I think Amy just wants to stay on the court as long as physically possible, even if she has to throw some points to do it, Mark.
We'll have to ask her that
I'm only
after the
kidding.
match, Patty. Gio
30,
catches the
love.
nick there. 30 love.
Time, please.
And I like Gio, you know, the player to the right there. She's beaten Amy twice in that corner in this game. That's huge.
And as you can see, the sun is out. Amy Shea has now got the sunglasses being
40,
used as
love.
sunglasses, not as a hairband.
At the ready.
Oh, great
It's kind of a
transition
weird
from
ball.
40,
Gio there. She
15.
misses the volley.
Yeah, and that was a weird ball for Amy Shea to get through the middle on them. They hadn't really shifted all the way over, and you know, typically the player to the right would look to volley that ball, but they just neither of them was looking to volley
40,
that ball. Interestingly
30.
enough.
There you see some of the fire from Gio. Makes her one of the most fun players to watch on tour.
Well, I think she's thinking about the last point that they screwed up, and she just screwed up really for no reason there. I mean, I guess there's always a reason, but not a huge reason.
Not a good reason.
That's a really good lob. Got Gio way beyond the service line.
Deuce.
Another missed volley from Gio. That's 3 consecutive. Take us from 40 love to deuce.
And you can see Gio's the player to the right, Mark. And typically, when you know a drive's coming, you would go in and be much closer to the net. Keep that paddle head above her wrist instead of dipping down below the level of the net.
Advantage receiver.
Great rip there from Sutter. Takes them to an unlikely break point.
Volley errors, Mark, in this game for Gio Williamson. They made a lot early on, cleaned it up, played a real good, you know, second of the first set and the whole second set, much better volleying. All of a sudden, just a little off in this game now.
Big forehand
Shea
through
and
there
Sutter
from Shea, and
lead
that
the
takes him to
second
2
set.
love.
Third set, excuse me.
Boy, from 40 love and complete control. See if Gio
You know,
Williamson can respond
it's those
here.
momentum switch, right? And the shifts in momentum, Mark. You just have to expect it, and that's why when things aren't going your way, you can't worry about it because it just takes one little thing to happen in the match, and then it can change.
Well, that's
It's
the
just,
essence
I've
of
not
it, isn't
seen,
it?
I've just not seen a high level match where the changes are so frequent. You know, it's like I said, we're just not getting a team on a roll for 2 or 3 games.
Well, if Shea Sutter managed to win this game, you'll have your 3-game roll.
There you go. All right, Williamson hit a solid forehand there.
It's a tough ball to drive from Sutter. Traveled a long way.
Love 15.
Didn't really have her feet underneath her.
Yeah, you know, she kind of had moved herself over on that baseline, let that overhead go in, but in doing so, then created a real tough ball to play. She was playing catch up, and that means you have to throw up a lob.
Great move there from Gio.
Love 30.
Switch at the net.
just feel like Shea has a better ability on her overhead to make Gio and Williamson play more screenshots.
And the advantage there is what, Patty Hogan?
Hey, that's how you open up the court. Otherwise, they just can settle in and, you know, just kind of chip away at you over time. You got to back them up and use those screens. Make them play the screens. Especially with rising temperatures, Mark, it should be easier to get those overheads into the corners.
Oh. Well, Shea had her dead to rights
Love,
there.
40.
Yeah, real disappointing volley error from Amy Shea right there.
Okay, it looks like Hanish Sabori have split with Marka and Prop.
Wow, that's shocking. They've just been lights out this year, but kudos to that new team, and you can never count Heather Prop out. She's one of the great minds in the sport of platform tennis, has had lots of success with different partners. Not a surprise, Mark, that she could find a way to make that match close.
Second set to Hanish Sabori, so they clearly kind of steadied the ship after losing the first. Oh, Shea misses the overhead long.
Game Guido.
She just has
Williamson.
not been sharp the whole
Shea
match.
Sutter lead the third set, 2-1.
No, Mark, and when I said, you know, a disappointing volley, not that I was disappointed that Amy Shea missed it. I was, but Amy was disappointed she missed it. I mean, I
Nobody's
do
more
feel like,
disappointed than Amy.
yeah, I mean, I guess she's got to be frustrated here. And we could never get 3 straight games of momentum, Mark. It just couldn't happen
Never.
with this matchup.
I think it's against rules.
The unwritten rule, for sure. Mark, what time does men's play kick off tomorrow?
First matches are at 8? 8 or
Okay.
8:30. I think the first time we're coming on air is 10:30.
Tomorrow's going to be another incredible day of watching for everyone.
Hopefully the weather's
Enjoying
going to
these
hold.
streams. Yes, we pray the weather is cold.
We pray it's not going to rain. 9:45.
Is there rain in the forecast, Mark? I hadn't checked yet.
Is some rain in the forecast.
Okay.
Oh, that Shea forehand just barely creeps over the net.
Love, 15.
Great volley there.
Interesting play from Shea and Sutter to both go forward, Mark. You don't see that happen too much. Probably won't happen again.
Yeah, to the success they had with it that time, I'd be surprised. A great volley from Shea. Off the net there.
Yeah, what a reach.
And here's what we talked about earlier. Gia Williamson switched with no real intent to switch back.
Yeah, but I like it a little bit just to get Jacqueline just a few more comfortable swings.
Well, but if you like it that way, then why not switch that way intentionally?
Yeah, I don't know, Mark.
Switching at this level is nothing, right? They know how to do it. They're not risking anything.
Correct.
15-30.
I mean, I think your point is a good one, that it gets Williamson some swings on a side maybe she's more comfortable with. But then, as I said, why not do it earlier?
Who knows, Mark?
Well, you, Patty. That's why I asked. Come on, I was counting on you to help me out here. Oh, another surprising miss from Amy Shea and a big point. Oh, there's a big forehand.
Mark, should they just play the third set tiebreaker right now?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Patty.
I feel like it's going there.
There's obviously so little that separates these two teams.
What are these? Number 6 in the country and number 13.
Yes. Long.
Coming off of a 7-6 in the third, 3-hour, 25-minute match at Nationals last April. I just think ultimately Shea and Sutter, when they play well, they're the better team.
Deuce.
Oh, Amy Shea is beside herself with that miss. Do you ever think about that phrase, beside yourself? That would mean you were standing next to yourself? What does that mean?
Are you looking in the mirror?
I don't know. Hopefully you wouldn't be too upset if you were looking in the mirror. I think we're getting rid of that phrase from now on.
Yeah, beside yourself. It is an odd one. I might have to ask Siri the origins of it. I'll come back to you on that.
Okay, I'll be waiting. Thank you. Well, she misses it wide. Another missed overhead.
Manage receiver.
Good deep lob there, but again, missed overheads are very rare at this level of the game.
Just an odd miss right there from Gio. You know, we talked a lot about Williamson trying to find her forehand. Amy Shea's got to find her forehand here. She's got to find some rhythm on that shot in this third set.
Shocking to say that, right?
I know. I didn't even want to say it, but I had to say it.
Well, that's awesome that you
It's the
stepped
truth
up
again,
in the big
Mark.
moment and said it. Another great lob. That's great athletic play by
Deuce.
Sutter. Another great drop shot. Wins the point, though.
Yeah.
Just feel like Shea and Sutter just can't quite shake them.
No, and Gio does have all those shots, and like I've said, when she can sort of dictate play a little bit, and she knows how to take away a lot of time from her opponents. I think Sutter's got to throw some more lobs up the line. She's hitting them all off the right shoulder of Gio in this point so far, and I think that deuce, from the deuce court, I'd love to see some more lobs deep up the line to try to pull Shea, so offensive abilities into this match.
Sutter misses that one.
Manage Guido.
Takes them to game point. And there's Shea stepped around to hit her backhand.
Cindy Prendergast is enjoying the action from Delaware. Someone whose forehand never was off tempo, Mark. Incredible consistency.
Hanish Sabori down 3-love in the third, Patty Hogan.
Oh my, that is shocking.
I was pretty shocked when Ann Sheedy showed me the score.
Game Guido and Williamson. Games are 2-all. Third set.
That would be the upset of the year, I think, if Prop pulls that match out.
Maybe more than the year.
Yeah. Just unlikely to me. But we've seen it all, Mark. Anything can happen.
Molenveld Tunaru through. And await the winner of that match in the semifinal.
2-all here. Jolene Sutter serving from Detroit. See, I like Shea switching over, hitting more overheads. You know, it lets her get more hits and maybe build some confidence here.
Good idea. A little bit late.
15-love.
But see, that's what Shea can do with her overhead, and she stretched Gio out, you know, beyond even Gio's limits.
Turned into a beautiful day here. And there they look for the switch at the net.
Yeah.
30-love.
I think it's smart because you've got to get Shea building confidence somehow in this match, in his third set.
Good forehand there from Sutter, from Williamson. Surprised Sutter.
Yeah, Sutter was serving and going up the line there. I think she was kind of thinking Amy Shea would cover that ball that was sort of middle-ish.
And again, no intent on switching at all.
Actually, I think this is a smart move from the baseline because Shea and Sutter are flat from their other sides.
Well, there they switched late, and it cost them the point. Amy Shea was so indecisive on whether to call that switch or not.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristic right there, Mark. Easy for me to say. No, and that caused them. You're right. And when you do switch back, I mean, at this level of play, they should pick the right ball that gives them time to be able to go cover the corner.
And there were 10 right balls in the course of that point?
Correct.
Gio showing off some of her athleticism again.
think that's key for them to win this third set. She's got to make her presence known. Kind of catch the eye of Sutter and Shea a little bit more.
Gio lets fewer balls through the wires than just about any player at the top level of the game.
Yeah, she is. She is a Betty blocker at times, Mark.
Betty,
Do you know Betty?
Blocker. Is that a teaching term? I hadn't heard that before.
Oh, totally. Betty's a former player in New Jersey.
Betty Blocker. Okay.
Yep. And you got to hit at some hard overheads. You got to blast a ball through, maybe in the middle screen to pull Betty Blocker out of that corner.
And there's Betty let the ball through the wires and missed the lob long.
Ah, there she goes. Why bother letting it go to the screen?
Never again. It's interesting with Shea and Sutter having all these long conversations. It's reminiscent of another partner of Shea's.
That's right. It wasn't anything about a long chat that Darce and Shea didn't love as a team.
They led the world in long chats.
Yeah, you had to add an hour to production time for a live stream match because of the
40,
chats.
30.
Winning forehand there from Williamson. I don't understand the
really good move.
high formation against her. I think that's just kind of opening up the court. She's not proven she can hurt you with a cross-court ball, so why play high?
Right, and to Jacqueline's credit, she missed one early in that second set going cross-court where I said the line was wide open. Just take the shot.
(4-1) Hanish Sabori trailing in the third and decisive set. Great cover there from Williamson.
Williamson played lots of tournaments over the years with Karen Coaches, and that's when we were referring to her play from that ad court. Karen used to play the deuce court.
Just hit the 2.5 hour mark on that overhead miss from Sutter. Takes us to 2-all deuce, final set. You don't have any lunch plans, do you, Patty?
I've been eating lunch already, Mark.
Oh, no, that's just cruel and unusual punishment, because I'm kind of hungry. Good look there from Gio. Well, she's doing a great job moving him around, then gets caught in the court.
Oof. That was a hell of a volley right there by Sutter. That was huge volley. Kept that ball really low. Great volleys, Mark, it can be depth, but it's also a lack of a bounce. It just didn't give Gio a choice to play that ball any other way than take a swing before she had any kind of balance or an ability to execute.
Big forehand there from Gio.
Deuce.
Yeah, great rip.
Love that Western swing. Really starting to impose her will on the match. You talked earlier about someone stepping forward. Well, it's been Gio.
Yeah, and I think Williamson steadied out a little bit here in the third set. I feel like she's not throwing some easy errors in there. She's not making it easy right now for Shea and Sutter. And I just don't see with Shea and Sutter, I don't see either of them taking charge.
Nope. Good reading the nick there from Gio.
Yeah, she's no Betty blocker, Mark. She heard us.
So Betty blocker is a pejorative term?
Yes.
She should have Betty blocked that one. She hit it over the fence.
That would have been the ball to block.
Advantage Sutter.
We had the
We always
perfect
joke
angle
about it.
there.
We call Betty blockers the people who block more of the balls going that would normally hit the back panel, at a decent height on that back screen that, you can really set up a lot of offense from rather than blocking and playing deeper close to that back screen, Mark. I'll introduce you to Betty in person someday.
Betty, nice person?
Ah, the best.
The best. Whoa, that's
Just
high
not
praise.
the best at the screens.
Link.
A little bit of break here. Jolene Sutter chases that
Got
ball
it
down.
if we need it.
It didn't go in the pond, did it, Mark?
No, it didn't quite reach the pond. But it's another opportunity for a long conversation between Shea and Sutter.
Oh, thank God. I've been missing this.
So what do you think they're talking about? My conversations with my partners go like this: don't fault and stop missing.
Well, that's from what your partner says to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever the conversation was, it worked, and they won the point and the game.
I just think it's a comfort zone for Shea.
Shea and Sutter, they lead the third set, 3-2.
She played for so many years with Cynthia, and it's just kind of what she did, and it provides comfort. Lack of conversation provides comfort for me.
I'll keep that in mind and not talk too much.
Well, during play, Mark.
Oh, I thought you were talking about during the broadcast.
No, but that's the thing. Players know what they need, and you have to get what you need to be successful on the court. And if it's no chat, which was oftentimes, I remember with Cindy Pendergrass chiming in here, Cindy was a no chat kind of gal. Sometimes I want to chat, and she just didn't give me the time of day. She was like, "Nope, let's
Go
just
back
keep
on your
playing."
side. Just leave me alone.
She was always right.
Well, we knew that beforehand.
Yes.
Okay, Jacqueline Williamson to serve. 2-3, final set.
15 love.
Definitely see the sun is out. Two fast
30
misses from
love.
Sutter.
And not surprising, Mark, because this is how the entire match has been played. Just so much gifting back and forth from both teams to each other.
Four
They're
incredibly
really nice.
generous women, yeah. Missed that one.
30-15.
Can anybody get some separation? That's the question. That's the ball a more confident Amy Shea would have taken off the deck. Good ball there. Oh, great exchange.
30 all.
And there Shea waited for, not a 50-50 ball, but an 80-20 ball, and hit a great ball through.
An 80-20 ball, Mark. I love that.
Great lob there from Sutter. Oh, they get beaten in transition. See, the mistake there was that they both came forward. To me, one of them's got to come forward, get control of the net, and the other one follows them in. Because that way they would have the option for the backcourt player to play that ball.
Well, that's where the game is won and lost, Mark. It's those little tactics. It's the subtle little decisions that are made out there all the time that really impact how a point, you know, the result of the point.
Some great Betty Blocker moments back here from Amy Shea.
Yes.
A good rip there from Sutter.
Deuce.
Catches the lead court.
And it's interesting, you know, there was a really good deep lob to Williamson there, and you saw Shea take another step back deeper into the court versus taking a step Gio-like, where she would be in a position to take away time and just like pounce on a ball if it were to be hit her way.
There they came forward only one at a time, and they didn't give away the point. Oh, Shea had them in all sorts of trouble and hit the ball too hard.
Yeah, she should. I thought she should have gotten right at Jessica in that at court, into that corner. Yeah, good screenplay from Gio out of that ad court right now.
Great athleticism. She was behind in that point. And then inexplicably misses an easy one wide.
She knows it.
Yes, she does. Nobody's a harsher
Advantage
critic
receiver.
of Jessica Gio than Jessica Gio.
And that's the amazing thing about paddle, Mark. You see right there, she makes three amazing digs out of the corners and then makes it just a silly mistake.
Point for 4-2.
She likes to be challenged, is what it comes down to.
Just too low a ball to drive. Your risk reward is just not there. Ankle high backhand.
Again, I think that sometimes when you're up there, it's so hard to pull off the drive, but you can make one, but it's got to be a much shorter backswing, much shorter follow through, much less pace. Just those three things, Mark.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, you see how deep Shea is playing, just not even looking for offense. Great lob up the line from Shea.
Great volley by Sutter behind Gio.
Advantage receiver.
Another big-time volley from Sutter at a huge point. Again, she got the deep ball, that volley, and that ball stayed so low. Very little bounce.
It's Amy Shea's turn to hit one of those. I don't really believe forehands. Oh,
Deuce.
big forehand there. It's interesting. Sutter can really rip that forehand, but
Advantage
sometimes she
receiver.
does, sometimes she doesn't. It's almost like she predetermines what she's going to do.
I like her forehand a lot, Mark.
I do too. I'm just surprised she hasn't hit more of them.
Yep. Yep. Well, I think she's had a ton of success with her two-handed backhand, but I think sometimes you find yourself in matches where you got to bring out another tool from your toolbox.
I don't mind the other toolbox. What I don't like is that she's had a whole bunch of forehands to hit on return of serve and only chose to hit some of them.
Yep.
I mean, most of the serves have been eminently drivable.
Yep.
To me, that's a matter of belief in the shot.
Totally. Got to have that confidence. Put a confident swing on the ball.
Wow, 2 missed lobs. Consecutive break points.
Deuce.
I think you're
Yeah,
right, Patty. I
Shay's,
think they should just start the tie break now.
Shay's footwork looks a little suspect, Mark, from the baseline. You got a great shot of it from this camera angle.
Advantage
And by
receiver.
footwork, you mean
Just-
her foot being planted in the ground, not moving?
Yeah, like a real lack of activity over there.
Yeah.
Looking to be creative with footwork. I always felt like just having that movement, you could draw the eye from your opponents.
Great blitz. Oh. Again, she caught them
Deuce.
completely off guard, just like the match point and the breaker.
Wow.
They have had every opportunity to separate themselves and have not been able to do so.
Right, so then you start to wonder, okay, are they just keeping Williamson and Gio in this match way too long? Gives them an opportunity to take it. And a place in the draw this afternoon in the semifinals.
And look, if Hanish Sabori go down, this tournament's anybody's. They were the overwhelming favorites coming in. A great field lob there from Gio.
Yep, a lot of question mark on the women's side. A lot of top players, but not as many of the top teams playing together. That's why Sabori and Hanish were such a favorite coming in.
Another great forehand from Sutter again. I wonder if Gio Williamson have recognized that Sutter is doing all the damage right now. I mean, as you pointed out, Shay's not even looking to drive the ball.
Well, again, Mark, you know, she put that long sleeve pink top back on, and I think that's trouble.
It's harder to
she's
drive
better
the ball
when
she's wearing a long sleeve
Advantage
pink top.
receiver.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I'm not superstitious about anything, but I'm just saying.
Long shot here from Shay Sutter. Don't miss the lob long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be playing. Oh, Gio misses the overhead, and it's 4-2.
Game Shea Sutter. They lead the third set 4-2.
This is starting to feel like who's going to trip over the finish line, Mark?
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who's grabbing it.
Okay, Amy Shea to serve 4-2. Final set. Does the pink top affect her serve as well?
Possibly.
Here's an example where the forehands in the middle would have been helpful.
For sure. Yeah, this is a good angle of,
Whoa.
you see Sutter bouncing
15
around
love.
with footwork, and, you know, that was a blown overhead big time
Yes, it was.
at the wrong time.
Oh,
30 love.
Oops. Yeah, Gio tried to make it up. She tried to make up for the miss right there and just forced the play that wasn't there.
Thirty 15.
it was just
Really
a
good
huge
dipping
game.
return of serve.
Forty 15.
Jessica Gio.
Yeah, this is a game she wants to forget.
Yeah. Just shocking. She's such a great competitor. 5-3. Hanish Sabori trail. We'll see if Prop can close it out.
Wow, that might have been going wide.
Yeah. Tough to let that one go.
Sure.
A great ball there from Gio.
40-30.
Love it. That was big time. She came back from 3 ugly mistakes and created that all by herself. Great shot.
Well, that lob was close. Great rip there. Call confirmed by chair umpire Willard. And as opposed to last April, instead of being up 5-1 in the third, Shane Sutter up 5-2 in the third. Now the question is, can they close?
What do you think, Mark?
Well,
I
first
say
off,
yes.
it's Hanish Sabori have saved 6 match points, and they closed to 5-4 in the third. And Patty Hogan, my money is on them.
I would never bet against him.
Anton Mavrin and I used to talk about John Schmidt, that you had him, but sometimes after you shook hands, he came back to beat you.
That's right.
And Hanish Sabori, they're just, until they're dead, they're not.
Exactly.
That match is being played over at the Oakland Hills Country Club. Jess Gio serving 2-5, final set to stay in the match.
Too bad they're at another club. We can't switch over and catch a few points of that. But this is an exciting point in this match right here, and I say they close, Mark. But not this game. It's going to take another serving game.
15 all.
Great spotted backhand there on the Williamson right hip.
It's got to give Shea a little confidence.
5 all, Hanish Sabori. Good rip. Another missed overhead.
Yeah, Gio just got caught in a little bit of an
15-30.
awkward position there and blew another overhead wide.
2 points from the match. Some conversation going on between the players.
Does Shea go right at Williamson again with this return mark?
15-30.
Why not?
I would.
She's looking for the backhand.
Yep, and Williamson set up. Well, there she goes a little bit more over to her backhand.
The ball was wide.
30 all.
30 all. 6-5 Hanish Sabori.
It's why they're number one.
The defending national champions. That Sutter forehand has really had a big impact on the match, especially the last half hour.
Yep, definitely in this third set. Good long point. We know it's critical. Really good lob from Sutter there out of that deuce court.
Let cord there takes us to match point number
Advantage
5, I think it is,
receiver.
Patty Hogan.
Yep. I thought they'd close on the next game, Mark. I didn't think they'd close with a break.
Just do a little walk around.
Advantage receiver.
There she went back at Williamson.
Yep. Might have been going out. It looks like Williamson reached for that ball up.
There's a good through ball from Sutter, taking over the mat,
great
and she
lob.
misses the
Great
overhead.
lob.
Deuce.
And you know what, Mark? What a great lob to set it up. She had the drive. She came in. She actually should have just let Shea take that overhead. She had so much forward momentum, and Shea was just
Advantage
standing there.
receiver.
Okay, match point number 7.
Okie doke. Will this be the one?
Lucky 7.
Totally lucky 7.
Deuce.
Catches the nick, and it's not lucky
Wow.
7.
Caught the line and the nick, it looked like, Mark.
Yeah, Sutter's really ripping that forehand now.
Ball's good.
Great ball from Gio, wins the point.
Yeah, great athletic play off that back
Advantage
screen
server.
to come up with that shot right there. Immediate overrule from the umpire. That's when an umpire makes the call, Mark.
Shea setting up for the backhand.
I like that she's standing in a little bit.
An
Oof.
8 match point
Range
saved.
going Williamson.
And Shea Sutter will serve to close
Shea,
it out at 5-3 in the third, a
third
game that
set,
Patty Hogan
5
has
games,
brazenly predicted they will win.
Fingers crossed. I want both teams to win, Mark. You know that. But I do feel like after another long chat here, this could be the game.
Brave words. This could be the game.
They've got to close. Otherwise, this you know, it's got to impact your psyche longer term when you just have so many opportunities and you can't close it out.
Again.
Really good serve from Sutter.
Third set tiebreak, Hanish Sabori. dig off the nick by Gio. That was a tough ball. Oh, good
Yeah,
point.
really good get.
Sutter is just firing away.
Yep, I love that movement from Williamson.
Oh,
Just
5
come over
hole.
and cover- Oh, nice.
Great action here.
You know, Mark, that's just what happens in paddle match. Sometimes it takes 2.5 hours.
Just hitting.
Then all of a sudden,
Not to
everything
correct you,
changes.
but we're hitting the 3-hour mark.
And exactly what you said, given what happened with these guys at Nationals last year. Maybe a 4-hour match. This is not surprising.
Lob is wide from Gio.
15 love.
Another missed
30
forehand.
love.
2 points from the match. We've been here before.
That's another gift. Right, it's the gift.
We've
The
lived here
season of
before.
giving.
A short chat from Shea and Sutter. Wonder if that'll throw them off.
Good point.
And Jacqueline
40
Williamson takes one
love.
off the snowboard, and this will be match points 9, 10, and 11 if necessary.
Starting to feel like I made a good call, Mark.
There goes
40,
number 9.
15.
Is 10 a lucky number?
For who?
Anyone?
And there it is. 10 is a lucky number.
Game
For Shea and
set
Sutter.
match. Shea, Sutter, 6-3, 6-7, 6-3.
Fun match, Patty. Closing thoughts?
Mark, just one of those odd paddle matches to watch. Nobody really had any momentum that they could sustain over a 2-game period until the very end of the match. And in the third set, like we said, you know, Shea finds a way. When she's a part of a team, they figure out how to pull out these matches eventually.
Hanish Zabori down 3-2 in the final tiebreak. 3-3 is the result we have right now.
Wow. It's exciting just thinking about it, Mark.
I think we're going to try and stay on the air for a few more minutes so we can continue to update the score there. My producer, John Scott, gives me a thumbs up about that.
Can't you just see the action
that's
over
all
there?
right. I
Mark?
enjoy
What
it.
club are they playing at?
Playing at Oakland Hills.
Okay. You ever play that golf course, Mark?
Unfortunately not. 4-3
shocked.
Hanish Zabori. Golf course has
Okay.
hosted several U.S. Opens known as the Monster.
That's why I was
5-3
my
Hanish
money-
Zabori.
Okay, my money on them and on you to have played that course.
And the coming back at 2:30 is the scheduled time for the semi. But I don't know that they're going to make that because it's already 1:40 and they haven't had lunch yet. So my guess will be closer to 3 o'clock for the semis, but we'll get something up on the screen to let you know about that. 6-3 Hanish Zabori, and they have 3 match points.
I say they win it on the first match point, Mark.
How do you think they'll win it, Patty?
With a winner.
With a winner. I like that. Okay, it's all over. Hannah Sabori perform an incredible Houdini act and get through, saving 5 match points. And they will be in the semifinals. The semifinal will be showing you, and my guess is a little bit over an hour. So stay tuned. We'll get that match up on the stream. And we'll be right back on the APTA YouTube channel, presented by eNet Live. Patty Hogan, pleasure doing the match with you.
Likewise, Mark. Good luck this afternoon.
They've done it again. Johanna Runt and Stephen Mitchell are the APTA national champions for the second year in a row.
There you have it, your women's APTA national champions, Valentina Harnish and Anna Maria Sabori.